what's up, everyone? Welcome to GYC Live. We are so excited that you are here with us tonight. Please excuse my glasses fogging, but my name is Jesse. I'm the youth pastor at GYC, and I am so excited to be with everyone tonight. Guys, how about you introduce yourselves for those who may not know you?
I'm Josh Bacon. I'm a youth leader here at GYC.
I'm Baker. I'm also a leader and an intern.
I think you forgot there for a second.
I did. I sometimes forget about who I am.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. Also, hey, just while we're here in this moment, I do just want to give a very solemn shout out to the Seattle Seahawks for almost finishing the year well. That was sad. Any Seahawks fans, let us know in the comments with like the crying emoji. That'd be great.
Or the broken heart emoji.
Yeah, my heart hurts deeply.
Yeah. Whatever emoji you feel describes how you feel about the Seahawks, drop that in the comments. And while you do that, we're going to start a new game.
Woo!
You guys ready for a new game?
I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
Hey, what is the musical artist whose first name is Taylor and last name is Swift?
I know.
Yes,
Kanye West.
Go for it.
Elvis Presley.
No, Elvis Presley and Kanye West. No, it is Taylor Swift.
Ah, dang it. Close.
And we are going to play a game tonight, which is called Taylor Swift or Lamentations, which is a book of the Bible. Basically, I'm going to read off a couple of different lines to these fine gentlemen here, and they're going to tell me if what I read to them is actually Taylor Swift or Lamentations. Are you guys ready?
Oh boy.
The winner gets a spicy chicken sandwich.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm down. Let's go. Let's do this.
And for you watching at home, feel free to participate in the comments. It's going to be a great time. You boys ready?
Yes.
All right.
I guess.
Drum roll at home, please. Good job. All right, so number one, Lamentations or Taylor Swift lyrics. She cried herself to sleep at night, tears soaking her pillow. Is this Lamentations or Taylor Swift?
I don't really know Taylor Swift either. I should
All right,
be
Baker.
answering this.
Lamentations or Taylor Swift? What do you think?
I'm thinking. You ready for this? You ready for this at home?
I'm thinking Lamentations. I'm thinking before
You
he
totally
says
just saw the screen.
I was actually thinking Lamentations prior too.
It's Lamentations.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Lamentations 1, number 2. She cries herself to sleep at night, tears soaking her pillow. You guys ready for round number 2?
Yes.
All right.
I'll even do this.
Here we go.
You think I'm cheating?
Lamentations or Taylor Swift lyrics. Your knives and swords are weapons that you use against me. Lamentations or Taylor Swift?
We're gonna give him time
3,
at home.
2, 1, go.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Correct. The song is Taylor Swift. And let's see here. It is from the song Mean by Taylor Swift. You feeling mean, Bacon?
I'm always feeling mean.
Whoa.
Good. All right, next one. Here we go. You boys ready?
Yes, sir.
My eyes are blind with tears. My stomach is in a knot. Is this Lamentations,
Same.
Taylor Swift lyrics, or Jesse after he was dumped in high school? I'm just kidding.
Number 3.
I'm kidding. That's not a real answer. My eyes are blind with tears. My stomach is in a knot. Is this Taylor Swift or Lamentations?
I think I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Okay, don't hate me for this, but I'm thinking Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Really? I'm thinking Lamentations.
All right.
Ooh.
Bacon takes the lead.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
Lamentations.
Yeah.
Because Baker is a simp.
What?
Whoa!
You heard it here first, muchacho.
This
Ooh.
is official
Here's the
news.
next one. You guys ready? You're like a lion, ready to pounce. Which is it? Lamentations or Taylor Swift lyrics? Also, be participating in the comments. So, is it Lamentations or Taylor Swift? Let us know what you think. But first, what do you guys think? Lamentations or Taylor Swift? Josh Bacon.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I'm thinking Taylor Swift.
I have to agree with that.
Both incorrect. Did you guys even take Bible classes? I mean, come on. What is
I'm
this?
currently
We didn't
taking Bible
focus on
classes.
Lamentations.
Clearly, this is Lamentations 3:10. Come on.
Clearly,
boys.
like honestly.
Oh, sorry. I
Come
have
on.
that tattooed on my back.
You guys are a bunch of simpletons. Next one. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
This yearning in the deep part of my heart for you. Lamentations or Taylor Swift?
I'd like to point out this is actually like extremely difficult Because
Is it though?
It is, because all of them sound like they could be in Lamentations, but there's the possibility that Taylor Swift sang it. Maybe all of Taylor Swift's lyrics are based off of
Here's a funny
Lamentations.
side note too. Someone who is a Taylor Swift fan was just reading through Lamentations and was like, what would be a great idea for a game? Is Lamentations or Taylor Swift? Obviously.
Reread it to me.
This yearning in the deep part of my heart for you.
What translation are we
Lamentations,
going on?
I don't know the answer to that
King
question.
James Version.
It also could be the T Swift translation. You never know.
What?
You never know. In the comments, what do you guys think? Is this yearning in the deep part of my heart for you, is it Taylor Swift or Lamentations?
Every time I've guessed Taylor Swift,
I'm going to have to ask you guys to guess now.
Taylor Swift.
Okay?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. Just go with it.
Correct.
Yes.
Ain't nothing about you. Bacon still has a lead of 1 point over Baker. Not surprising.
That's it.
Okay.
This is war now.
Next round. You boys ready?
Yes. No.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'll never forget the trouble, the poison I've swallowed. Is this Lamentations or Taylor Swift? Josh Bacon.
Taylor Swift.
It has to be Taylor Swift.
Both incorrect.
What?
The answer is Lamentations 3:19.
That literally sounds like Bad Blood.
I'll never forget the trouble, the poison I've
Or
swallowed.
Trouble. This is so hard. Why is this so difficult?
You guys are terrible.
Is Lamentations Taylor Swift
Next.
inspiration?
Round. Are you ready?
No.
Yes.
My dudes. But there's one thing I remember, so I can keep a grip on hope. Is it Lamentations or Taylor Swift? What do you guys think? Lamentations or Taylor Swift?
I think so.
But there's one thing I remember, so I can keep a grip on hope. If you're just joining us, the game is Lamentations or Taylor Swift. So go ahead, participate in the comments. What do you think it is? Lamentations or Taylor Swift?
Lamentations. Final
Taylor
answer.
Swift.
Ooh, the game is now tied
Dang it.
because Baker
Let's
was
go.
correct.
I was trying to increase my lead. I just
Josh
picked opposite
Bacon
of whatever
clearly
Baker
does not
picked.
know his Bible nor Taylor Swift as well as we all hope he would.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. I'm aching, no past, nowhere to hide. What do you boys think it is?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Final
it's
answer.
Taylor Swift.
All right. Is it Taylor Swift? It is indeed The Last Time by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I kind of know that.
You guys are tied 1-1. All we are is skin and bone. What do you think it is?
Every single artist ever.
All we are is skin and bone. Baker, is it Taylor Swift or Lamentations?
Lamentations. Gonna go with that.
Bacon?
I want to say Lamentations, but I want to take the lead here. I'm going to say Taylor Swift.
All right. Guess what? Bacon takes the
Yes!
lead.
Dang it.
The song is Treacherous by Taylor Swift.
I don't even know if I could sing that.
I
Do it
would
right
really
now.
prefer it if you didn't.
Could you?
No.
Okay.
I just don't want to hear you sing. Not to be mean or anything,
Well, my
but
parents
you're
said.
not exactly called to be a worship pastor. Hey, okay. Enough deprecating humor of Bacon. Next round, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
I need to catch up.
It is good for a man to bear the yoke while he is young.
I mean,
Oh,
if
If this is Taylor Swift,
It has to
guys,
be
I'm
Lamentations,
it's
gonna-
right?
Lamentations. It's got to be Lamentations.
this is Taylor
Famous-
Swift, I'm leaving.
Last words.
I will quit.
What do you guys guess?
Lamentations.
Lamentations.
Correct answer.
Thank goodness.
Taylor Swift.
What?
What?
I'm kidding. It's Lamentations 3:27. It is good for a man to bear the yoke while he is young.
There's no way that could have been.
All those
Taylor
young
Swift.
men bearing them yokes. Alrighty. Well, boys, that was the last round.
Oh,
I would like to declare the winner, Joshua Bacon. Put the little applause emojis in that comment thread. Let Bacon know you're proud of him for achieving something so small. Bacon, great job, my friend. You did awesome.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
be better.
I'm trying.
Well, guys, thanks so much for participating in the activity. We're going to dive into week number 2 of our series, The Youth Will Always Win.
Will the youth win?
Hey everyone, welcome to week number 2 of our series, The Youth Will Always Win. Hey, we talked about some great stuff last week, and this week we're diving into week number 2 of this conversation. I hope after last week you felt encouraged to live a faith that isn't quiet, but a faith that is loud. And this week we're talking more about this idea of how we can take action with our faith. Many of us out there, if we were all to be honest, would probably say we have faced some kind of large problem in our life. You don't have to be my age at 26 to have faced a lot of big problems. You don't have to be your grandparents' age to have faced big problems, but there are big problems that come up for many of us that we need to figure out. And when I say large issue, I don't necessarily mean like, the sky is falling, everything is terrible. But one big problem that I had when I was a student was actually missing the bus. If you're out there and you drive to school, go ahead and put like a car emoji in the comments, or if you take the bus, go ahead and put a sad face emoji in the comments, whatever that means for you. But one problem I had was missing the school bus when I was in high school. And it didn't happen a lot, but it happened enough to where it was an issue. Now, I was lucky because my bus driver actually liked me. There was one other kid in our neighborhood who was always talking back to her, who was always having a disrespectful attitude. And there was one day where I saw how differently she treated the two of us. I was walking out of my house towards the bus stop because I was late, and she actually made an extra stop, pulled the bus over, and picked me up. Right? It was great. Now for the other kid who is in my neighborhood, the exact same thing is happening, except the bus driver, because she doesn't like him, just waves at him and keeps driving right past this kid, and he misses school for that reason. Now it sounds terrible, but I still had a problem of missing the bus. And I remember being so stressed out about it. I thought this was going to create like bigger issues at school for me. Like teachers were going to be upset if I was late. My parents were going to be mad at me. And I was so focused on the big implications of this problem that I missed there was a really simple solution. And that solution simply was setting my alarm for an earlier time so I would actually get out of bed and be on time for the bus. Now, this is a smaller example, but when all of us face large problems in our life, it can be hard to focus on the small solutions. I think our mind naturally says we're encountering a big problem that needs to be solved, so it must require a big solution. Many of us feel this tension with big problems that we face today as students. So what problems are you facing in your life right now? Maybe you feel unequipped to solve problems like this. Maybe you're having difficulties in a relationship. Whether it's a friendship, there's just misunderstanding and you're not getting along like you used to. Maybe it's a dating relationship, you're starting to have some problems. Maybe it's problems in your family. Whether it's tension between your parents, or it's financial difficulties, or it's a family member who's sick. Maybe you're struggling with some kind of addiction to a substance or something else. Maybe it's simply just problems at school. You see, all of these problems can feel really big when we're going through them, and our go-to, because we feel unequipped, is to try and think of some big, crazy solution that will solve our problems. But whatever problem you're facing tonight, I believe that God has already given you what you need, and that if you trust in Jesus, He will take care of the rest. Tonight, we're going to be looking at a story in John chapter 6, and the whole story is found in verses 1 through 13, but we'll be focusing through verse 9. Here's what the story says. John chapter 6, verses 1 through 13 says this. After Jesus crossed over to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias, a huge crowd kept following him wherever he went because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. Then Jesus climbed a hill and sat down with his disciples around him. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Turning to Philip, he asked, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. Philip replied, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." Then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" You see, what we see happening in this story is the disciples come across this big problem. They have thousands of people that they literally need to feed and provide food for because Jesus asked them to. Now, if the only food you have, as the story says, is 5 loaves of bread and a couple of fish, clearly that doesn't multiply to 5,000 people. And so what you see the disciples do is they have this big problem, this big issue they need to solve. And what they do is they ultimately start going to the big solutions. Well, we need to work for months, or we need to find a way to get more food. We need to go raise money to buy all of this because what we have just isn't enough. If you're familiar with the story, you know that when you go to the end of it, Jesus ends up just multiplying all of the food because he's God, and he performs this miracle and everyone is fed. You see, what I want to highlight in this story is that Jesus was testing his disciples. They already had what they needed. And in their perspective, what they already had seemed way too small to handle the problems that they were facing. But Jesus was intentionally setting aside this time to teach his disciples about the power of faithful obedience, about trusting in the fact that even when what we have feels like it's too small for a problem, Jesus can use it to solve big things happening around us. See, oftentimes God will put us in situations that are far beyond our abilities. And we're in the middle of those situations, it can feel really unfair. God, why am I having so much trouble with my grades at school? God, why is there tension at home right now with my family? God, why is this happening? And you can fill in whatever situation or problem you have right now. But what we have to remember is that when we go through these types of situations, it isn't some kind of punishment, but rather God is trying to teach us in these moments how to be faithful with the little he has given us, and then to surrender the rest to him and to allow him to do the rest. You see, the easy temptation for all of us is to look at a problem or a situation and think, man, if I only had what this person had, or if I only had or if I was in this person's shoes, then things would be better. I remember back to my very first car that I had, and some of you out there who are old enough, you just got your first car, and they're way nicer than what I had. But I drove a 1995 Nissan Sentra, and the car broke down all the time, the trunk leaked water, and it had all these other issues. And I remember having moments in my life where I would think, man, if I just had a better car, if I just had a nicer car, a bigger car, one that didn't leak water, which I think that one's kind of valid to want something different. But I remember being so discontent with this car that I thought that what I had wasn't good enough. And I think many of us do that with situations in our life, with problems that we face. We could think, man, if I was this person, or if I was in their shoes, if I only had what they had, then these problems would be easier. And we lose sight of the fact that Jesus has already given us what we need and that he will do the rest. You see, the disciples in the story said that it was impossible to feed the crowd. They were focused on the natural. A young boy simply brought what he had to do to Jesus, though. And this is the powerful part, so that Jesus could do the supernatural. Instead of focusing on the problem, they simply surrendered the small portion, and God used it miraculously. The main idea for today, if you're taking notes, is this: use what you have for God, even if it seems small. Use what you have. Use the different gifts. Use the different talents. Use the different abilities that God has given you, even if you're insecure about it. Luke 16:10 says this: if you are faithful in the little things, you will be faithful in the large ones. But if you are dishonest in the little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. You see, this teaches us that stewardship with what God has given us starts small. So tonight, what is it that you have? What talent or ability or gift do you have that feels small, that you don't think is enough? Are you out there and are you a natural leader? People seem to gravitate towards you. Do you have a gift or a special talent that not many other people do? Are you really good simply at building relationships and connecting with people? Are you a great listener? Do you love serving and being available to help others? You see, all that God is looking for us tonight is faithfulness. Faithfulness to trust him and to do the best we can with what he has given to us. The application for tonight is simple if you're taking notes. Surrender the small things to Jesus. Write out a list on a note card. Write it down in your journal, even right now, and surrender it to God. When God created all of us, he knew what he was doing. The things he gave us are enough to accomplish the purpose he has for our lives if we're willing to trust in him and let him do the rest. The situation or the problem you're in right now might be on purpose because Jesus already knows what he is going to do in response to your faithfulness and obedience. Simply offer what he has already given you. 2 questions to reflect on as we close tonight. Number 1 is this: why do I focus often on the problem rather than surrendering it to Jesus? And the second question is this: what small thing can I bring to Jesus this week for him to use miraculously? I want to pray for you guys and then we'll be done. God, I thank you so much for the chance to gather together today, God, to learn more about your word. And Lord, I pray that as we go about this week, you would help all of us to reflect on the ways in which you've equipped us to navigate life's problems, the ways in which you've gifted us to pursue the calling you have for all of us. God, I pray, Lord, that we would see what we have from you as enough. God, that we would put our trust in you, God, to do great things in our lives and through our lives. God, we love you. We need you. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad I got to see you guys all in the comments here tonight. Had a lot of fun with the game and a great message with Jesse. And stay on the lookout for Zoom life groups 2 weeks. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you guys on Zoom. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'll see you guys then.